Okay, so that's it for this special episode of the internet.
We are keeping this.
Hold up.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Internet Set. So, a show we take animals and shocking weird absurd facts, stats, trivia, and our personal stories, and we talk about it. And today's episode is on our favorite directors.
Yeah.
Favorite Bollywood directors. You know what's going to
Boom.
be great about this episode on the internet? When they look at Kautuk's clock and get really confused.
Oh. So
now that I've said it,
एक
they
और-
can't stop looking at it.
एक और खुलासा ये लोग इंट्रो पॉडकास्ट के बाद रिकॉर्ड करते हैं.
Yeah, और वो भी रात के 12:30 बजे. So, straight off the bat, without thinking, Neville, your favorite director?
Me. No.
Neville, we said director.
Yeah. In today's, I think from the new lot of people, Zoya Akhtar for sure.
Zoya Akhtar. Adar.
दिवाकर बैनर्जी.
Divakar Banerjee. Kautuk.
Vishal Bharadwaj.
Vishal Bhardwaj. And I'm going to go
Varun.
with Anurag Kashyap. And
Okay.
That's it from this episode of
Thank you guys.
the
Thank you for
Internet
joining
Set.
us.
Those were our favorite directors. I hope you liked what we said. And yeah, tune into our videos more often to
Yeah,
see
we'll
such
be-
amazing content.
We'll be back with more facts and more well-researched podcasts.
Oh
No,
God.
But you know
Okay,
what?
so we're doing Bollywood only.
Yes, we are only
those
doing
are-
Bollywood. Yeah, we are doing only Bollywood directors. And obviously, we've seen a massive
Actually,
change,
Varun,
right?
I'm really sorry to correct you. It's not just Bollywood. We're doing the Indian film industry.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
need to be extremely correct about this.
You
The
can't
Indian
call
film
it
industry.
Bollywood. Indian film industry. But you know, talking about that, we've obviously have a massive history, right? From back in the day till right now. And Indian movies, Bollywood movies have changed and grown or sometimes regressed. I don't even know anymore.
Comedies for sure have regressed. Comedies
Yeah.
for sure. I
Hai na?
can say this with a fact. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
And not
comedies
just
have-
that, like
it has been really old. The film industry has been really old. Like I remember, like Baba Saheb Phalke. How was Baba Saheb Phalke, Neville?
Not Baba, Dada Saheb.
Dada Saheb.
First of all.
Well, you would know. You know him. Yeah, I'm not on a first name basis with him. So.
you're at least on a correct name basis with him. You're not just going to call Dada Saheb Phalke Praveen, right? Randomly.
And you know what happened
Mahesh.
with this, right? Adar was going for the joke of Neville. How was it hanging out with Baba Saheb Phalke? But has completely turned the joke on himself.
This is
No,
what
so
happens
for-
when you record
for-
a podcast at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, and for all the fans who or all the people who are watching this who don't follow our podcast, the joke is that Neville is very old. That is the joke.
So he knew Baba Saheb, Dada Saheb Phalke, Nana Saheb Phalke, Uncle Saheb Phalke.
He used to just call him Dada.
Dada.
No, but obviously, like, you know, if you think about it, directors that we had back in the day, right? Like you take Satyajit Ray, you take Ritwik Ghatak. I'm not just saying Bollywood, Indian directors, right? Dada Saheb Phalke. They were making films when half
Guru
the
Dutt.
things...
Guru
Guru Dutt, yeah. Pyasa, right? So they were making films where half the things that are currently at the disposal of directors weren't available to them.
Yeah.
Right,
course
and
not.
they were still making classic movies that you will still watch right now and be like, how the hell did they make such good cinema back then?
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
You had
Like
Satyajit Ray.
Mughal
who's-
Azam, like
Ah.
Mughal Azam, I mean, if you consider shooting Mughal Azam in the day, and when Mughal Azam was shot, like, I mean, I know I mentioned this before, but like, you didn't have a monitor to watch what you're capturing. You're just standing there as a director, and you're hoping the play is getting it. And the DOP said, "Ha, mil gaya mere ko," and you've just trusted the guy. Like, you know, there's one guy who's doing this because your playback also would come in later. So, and Mughal Azam, I mean, come on, there's Pyasa. Mughal
Yeah,
Azam.
and
There's
the
these
thing is,
great
the thing
films.
is, the thing is, back then you're working also on film, right?
Hmm.
So a retake isn't just
Yeah.
a waste of time; it's a waste
Yeah.
of money.
Money. Yeah.
You know,
Hence,
Yeah, it's-
burning money.
It is,
which is why the actors during those times had to learn their lines.
yeah.
No,
That-
which is why bad movies in those times didn't have scripts. So it was just Jo bolna hai bolo.
Yeah.
So that there's no rehearsal. Just say
You know,
what
by
you
the way,
want.
guys,
You know what fantastic,
is-
like songs when they used to like, look at the actors actually singing the songs in old movies. They're performing the hell out of those songs. Like
Yeah.
they've really learnt every lyric, every nuance. It looks like Dilip Kumar is singing that song.
Yeah.
Also,
Ye
you know,
mera deewa-
it is not a coincidence that Amir Khan only got really, really big really recently. Like he would have sucked back in the day because they'd be like, "Sir, ek aur take look, ek aur take." Nahi, Amir, nahi.
Please stop, Amit.
Khatam, khatam.
No, I mean he didn't do that during JJWS, guys.
Yeah, there you go.
So much so that they shot 70% of JJWS again.
Please explain what JJWS is.
JJWS.
first.
It is, guys. It's an extremely accepted acronym for Jo Jeeta Wahi Sikandar.
Only that the only one that Baba uses. Okay, nobody else uses JJWS. But you know, I almost shudder to think what it would be like if Salman was acting in the movies back in 40s or 50s, where not only are there no retakes, right? You have to come to set on time.
but you have to come to set on time. Yes.
Yeah, more importantly, ऐसे मुगले आजम खत्म होने के बाद थोड़ी आ सकता है सलीम, bro. देखो पहला चीज
I thought for a second you were talking about Salman's dad.
Yeah. Oh
No, I'm actually talking about.
If you want to really
speaking
put
of-
up the
speaking of-
contemporary actors, like 90s actors in Mughal Azam, like just Sunny Deol in Mughal Azam as Salim would be so much fun.
Yeah. No, but here's one thing when you were speaking about Salman's father Salim. So Salim Javed, one of the best writing duos that has
Yes.
come out, obviously, that have written.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like in the 70s, they wrote Sholay, Shakti, and Diwar.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a filmography after which you should retire.
No, you can because you will come out from royalty your whole life. That movie is going to get remade and this gazillion times, and you're just in like a, what do you call it? The gallery, Hall of Fame gallery for
Correct. For writing the 3 best films of all time. Like, what is?
Dude,
I
you
don't
know,
even.
something. If Sholay hadn't been created, half of our prime time television comedy would not exist.
and half of 90s spoof on the internet would not exist.
Dude.
Where Gabbar was without his hands.
Bro,
Dude, there would be no ads. Like there were so
Yeah.
many ads that were just revolving around Kalia, Gabbar,
कितने आदमी थे,
Varun,
कितने
Varun.
आदमी थे, dude.
तू अभी right now अगर तू रेडियो ऑन करेगा ना 4 शोले के ऐसे स्कूप दिखेंगे
Spoof
तुझे, 4.
spots, yeah.
हाँ.
So Sholay also, just so you know, I mean, I know we're talking about directors and of course it was fantastically well written. Unfortunately, I was not born when Sholay released.
Were you not, Baba? Are you sure you weren't?
But when Sholay re-released in 2014, I did go and see it. But the thing is, like my mom and dad told me this story about Sholay. Like Sholay released for a year and a half. They did not get tickets.
Yeah.
Because they weren't they were not available in black or anything. They were damn expensive.
For a year and a half.
Year and a half they didn't
But
get
didn't
tickets.
Sholay get screwed in the middle? Like it didn't really, it didn't hit
No,
home.
it did well.
Wait a second. By the way, in today's day and age, a year and a half would mean that it is completing 1 year on an OTT platform.
So here's the trick. Here's the thing about Sholay. Like people had already started getting. It was one of the first films to have an audio cassette of the entire film. So dialogues and everything.
Oh,
So,
nice.
So one of my uncles, apparently, whenever they would go out, my mom, dad, and uncle aunt, he would play the thing. So my mom has already heard the whole film before she's gone and watched the
Mama,
film.
1 second. This was Sholay the podcast, like that.
Yeah, it was.
But that's how great the lines were. That's how great that's how iconic that film is. And Ramesh Sippy, who is obviously one of the 3 people, I mean, one of the directors I want to talk about, Ramesh Sippy is done. I mean, and to make it seem like, everybody says it was Ramesh Sippy's first film, it really was not. Right?
How can it be?
Really not. Ramesh Sippy did Sita or Geeta and all that before it, but he obviously broke.
Still not bad, dude. Still
Yeah,
not bad.
man.
See,
Dude, you
Sita
look at
or
Ramesh
Geeta.
Sippy. Please, can I just read you his filmography? It was Andaz, Sita or Geeta, Sholay, Shan, Shakti, Sagar, Zameen, Bunyad the TV series, And then of course, and then Akela with Jackie Shroff and Amitabh Bachchan and Meenakshi Seshadri. And then Zamana Diwan. I'm saying you look at his filmography.
That's pretty solid.
Sholay, Shakti, Shan are great films.
You know,
Like,
that is like 100 crore alliteration.
Yes.
Okay.
But this is the thing.
First universe.
Sagar.
But the thing is, someone told Ramesh Sippy after the success of Sholay that आपका हर film जो S से start होगा वो successful होगा.
Yeah.
So he started naming everything until he flopped with, I think it was Shan, I think that flopped. And then he was like,
Shan did pretty well.
Shan would have done well, yeah.
No, check. I think it was Shan that flopped. This is
Magarmach.
according to my dad, by the way. So one of the big films flopped, and then he was like,
no, it doubled at the box office, yeah.
Yeah. And that was a big
Shakti might have bombed. Shakti,
one of them. Shan or Shakti, one of them.
Actually,
Shakti
Andaz
just-
might have bombed because he said, "Sir, आपको S से बोला था, आपने A से क्यों बनाई picture?"
No. So no, just so you know, like if you like, have you all seen Shakti?
Yeah.
It's one of the.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic film. It is a fantastic, like the narrative, the way it's been directed, the storytelling. It is genuinely outstanding. And I know everyone keeps comparing.
It's a great movie, but Shan I think was better because उसमें the button दबाता था और सब लोग के चेहरे ऐसे घूमते थे. And that was
अबे
a way.
उसमें शार्क था, शार्क.
हाँ, वो शाकाल.
शाकाल.
This guy created two of the greatest villains, Gabbar and Shakal.
Yeah.
Dude, by the way, in Shan, everything was with Shah. It was like Shan, Shark, Shakal.
उसका गाना था ना प्यार करने
Yeah, and the opening title sequence was like a Bond film, if you remember.
Yeah, it was. It was a parody of a Bond. I mean, not a parody. But
Does anybody
it was
remember
an homage.
the opening scene with Amitabh Bachchan where he's just holding his collar like this?
Yeah.
Oh no, he's being inconspicuous. He's wearing a trench coat in Bombay. And a hat, a proper detective hat, and doing this and behaving inconspicuously.
Yeah, what a great. So to me, just like if you've done Sholay, and everyone's comparing you to Sholay, and there's some great tidbits on Sholay, like just from casting and all. Like I've read a couple of books and stuff. Like Dharmendra actually wanted to play
Amitabh's role.
Yeah, no, Dharmendra wanted to play Sanjeev Kumar's role. And Amitabh Bachchan wanted to play Gabbar. So
and Amjad Khan wanted to play Basanti, and Hema Malini wanted to
play Dhanno.
So what Ramesh Sippy basically told, so at that point, if you remember, Sanjeev Kumar also was like madly in love with Hema Malini. So Ramesh Sippy told Dharmendra, look, dude, I don't have a problem if you want to play Thakur, but if that happens, then Sanjeev Kumar has to play your role, and he's going to then end up with Hema Malini. So you decide. क्या मतलब कितना उसको ऐसा
और इधर लोग एक्टिंग के लिए जाके ऑडिशन कर रहे हैं सर इज दिस ओके उधर बोला देख अगर तू रोल नहीं करेगा तो हेमा चली जाएगी नहीं मुझे
One second. This also means, can you imagine Sunny Deol as Sanjeev Kumar's son?
No, actually, what I'm like the conversation that must have happened between Ramesh Sippy, like he's telling.
But you realize that that's not the mother.
Yeah.
Sorry, fuck, yes.
Dharmender, it's just Dharmender being
right
by Ramesh Sippy के देख भाई संजीव कुमार हाथ धो के पड़ा है पीछे हेमा मालिनी के तो उसके हाथ काट
ये किधर होगा स्क्रिप्ट में on Dharmendra's insistence he actually was a fully functional guy with all limbs intact लेकिन धर्म जी ने बोला so obviously Baba so we have Ramesh Sippy we have in fact one person that I think has influenced a large number of directors in today's day and age is Manmohan Desai right like Manmohan Desai's brand of comedy or his kind of movies like you watch half these directors man they are almost like uske students hai Farah Khan he to openly says it right that if there was no Manmohan Desai I would not be a filmmaker
Amar Akbar Anthony I have a poster in my house of Amar Akbar Anthony that movie is because it's a great film.
You remind Baba of his childhood come on
it is a great film Amar Akbar Anthony to me like if I wanted to remake Amar Akbar Anthony like that's how exciting Amar Akbar Anthony is. And if you see it, it's got way too many songs, okay? Because the narrative literally is 1 hour long. Okay,
Yeah.
but everything else is just songs. But that story is told so well. You can't feel the length of the film.
You know what I loved about Amar Akbar Anthony is Vinod Khanna. एक जब बच्चा होता है एक गन छुपाता है. You know, एक ईंटों का. There is a pile of bricks. There's a pile of bricks outside his house, and वो गन छुपाता है underneath those bricks.
And then
this is the cool thing about Bombay. That pile of bricks is there after 25 and he finds his gun.
And it's perfectly, and it's in the perfect condition.
Why
was the pile of bricks there?
वो bricks के पास में एक board है, metro construction in progress.
No, so obviously, like, you know, all of these directors we had, right? And there were some directors like Abhi Ramesh Sippy. After a point in the 90s or mid 90s, I never heard of any other movies of his that came out. Likewise for Manmohan Desai and a lot of the other directors. But there were some directors who almost like stood
Manmohan
the test.
Desai after Tufan is gone.
Yeah.
You know something else?
In
Sorry,
89.
just because we're on Manmohan Desai, one other thing is that Manmohan Desai was not just a director, he was a period of Bollywood.
Yeah.
If you had to define what Bollywood movies were, you eventually went to the tropes of Manmohan Desai. Andhi Ma, the Bichde Hue, the Bichde Hue brothers.
Blood transfusion from 3 people to 1 woman.
But think about it, no, he's got Suhag, he's got Amar Akbar Anthony, he's got Coolie, he's got
Coolie, man.
Ganga Jamna Saraswati. So like so many films, and this is literally a guy, Mard, Amrita Singh. So I mean, he's got all these films, but they're all, and so it is what you're saying. It's right. It's a genre of Bollywood.
The next guy to do that, the very next person who defined Bollywood was Karan Johar.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. I would actually say Yash Chopra, dude. I would actually say Yash Chopra.
Okay,
I think
Yash Chopra
I think Yash Chopra and Manmohan Desai were contemporaries, right? Like, because I wanted to talk about Yash Chopra as well. Like, you know, there was a time, and the most shocking thing happened. I was talking to somebody, and it was one of those scenarios where this was early 2000s, I think, and we were talking to somebody, and someone just said, you know, like, Yash Chopra is such a great director, Falana Dimka. I mean, look at it, right? Like, he directed Diwar. मैं 2 minutes के लिए रुक गया.
Correct.
I was like, it's not possible that this guy has directed Diwar, right?
It's like Karan Johar directing Gangs of Wasseypur. It just doesn't make sense. Like, how did this?
Or Karan Johar being a part of that other Aruna Kashyap movie.
So to me, blue velvet, red velvet, velvet rabbit,
Bombay velvet.
There you go.
Blue velvet is apna.
And Red Velveteen Rabbit is a book. Red Velveteen Rabbit is a book. So, and Red Velvet is a cake. So yeah, combined everything together. To me, the Yash Chopra filmography also, it's good. Like, and one thing about Yash Chopra is there where I have a feeling that somewhere he has witnessed real heartbreak. Because you look at every single film and pull out that.
I was just going to say.
What?
He experienced heartbreak when Uday Chopra was born. But in the anticipatory heartbreak, he had a kick-ass film career all through 70s.
Because you look at, like, and then when you think about it in Diwar, you think about like Amitabh Bachchan, and you know, when Amitabh Bachchan falls in no. When Amitabh Bachchan falls in love with Parveen Babi, and their love story is incomplete, you know, and then you go into Silsila and you're like, Silsila though is crazy. Abhiman, like, how do you even in Trishul, Chandni. So I'm saying you look at like any of these. Dar, Chandni. So I'm saying you look at any of these films, and then of course we have Jab Tak Hai Jaan.
2 minute silence.
भाई एक ही एक्टर है दुनिया में जिसने अपने एक 12 मिनट के रोल को 9 साल के लिए ना निचोड़ा है. This guy. ठीक है, स्टैंड अप, पॉडकास्ट, स्केच, हर चीज में. बट बाबा, just taking your point further, right? I think there is something about the way a director is that it goes beyond just filmmaking. Okay, now because I've worked in close quarters with him, I will tell you from personal experience 2 stories about Yash ji. Okay, on set, ek to we used to all call him Yash ji. And as a 24-year-old, this is the first time I'm doing a big budget Bollywood film. And it was a very small sequence. My part was nothing. I had to just go give Shah Rukh a bomb disposal suit. That's literally what the scene was. Okay? Everything is focused on Shah Rukh. Now I'm standing there. Suddenly Yash ji calls me.
Yeah.
So he did this. So I looked around. Yash Chopra मुझसे क्यों बात करना चाहते? It's that. Even though you're an actor, and I am supporting actor, bro. What possible work would he have with me? So he's called me because everybody else is getting their scenes explained to, right? और मेरे को एक बॉम्ब सूट देने का है, तो उसमें ज्यादा एक्सप्लेनेशन की जरूरत है नहीं, तो कोई मेरे को भाव ही नहीं दे रहा है. लेकिन यश जी ने मुझे बोला. सडनली मैं गया, बाकी सब जो सपोर्टिंग एक्टर्स है ना, मतलब यश जी बुला रहे करके मैं गया और सब लोग देख रहे, कह रहे यश जी व्हाट इज ही टेलिंग वरुण. So Yash is trying to explain to me the scene. He said Shah Rukh is going to be doing the bomb disposal thing. You have to go and you have to look at him in awe. Okay, you have to look at him in awe. That's your character. I'm the young guy who's in awe of Shah Rukh's character. So he said, just walk up to him and you see him and you're in awe of him. Like, ऐसे सोचो बेटा कि वो सचिन है. And I have, मैं तभी हंसा नहीं, मैं इतना मन में कंट्रोल कर, because Yash was super funny, ठीक है? Sometimes unknowingly, but he was super funny. And he's like, just imagine that Shah Rukh Khan is Sachin.
No, but Varun.
और मुझे बोलना था यश जी को कि यश जी देख, for me, I am in awe of both of them. Like, अभी वो शाहरुख है, ऐसा नहीं कि शाहरुख मेरा भाई है, bro. शाहरुख खान है. First time I'm acting with him, and he's like, imagine he's Sachin.
But Varun, you got to understand his context.
Yeah.
So for him, Shah Rukh is just some guy he had done there with at some point. है अभी, ठीक है, चल.
And दिल तो पागल है.
हाँ, meaning ठीक है यार.
Now I'm going to go back to the scene and I'm going to watch that scene again when Shah Rukh, Varun hands that bomb jacket over to Shah Rukh, and Varun just, I can see that Varun के दिमाग में चल रहा होगा, please imagine this is Sachin. Please imagine this is Sachin. Yash ji ने बोला Sachin को imagine करो.
Sachin, bro, it was too funny. And the second thing, okay, actually I don't have 2 things. I have about 5 things. But
This podcast is now called Yash Ji Stories.
it's called Yash Ji Stories. Okay. The second one, and actually this should have been the first one, and the most important reason why I think Yash Ji is the kind of director who's got an amazing body of work and loved across the board.
Yeah.
No, I don't know anybody who doesn't like his movies. You may have not liked 1 or 2 of his movies, but largely you like his filmmaking style. You like him as a person, right? And this was shown brilliantly where I would reach set. Not I, all of us would reach set. But before us, you know who the first person was to reach set? Was Yash Ji. When we were shooting in Kashmir, okay, obviously there's some valley ki to shoot kare. You don't get green room nahi hai, but we all had vanity vans. हम लोग supporting वाले, हम लोग को जरूरत नहीं थी, हम लोग tent में बैठ सकते थे. We were put in Yash Ji's van. You know why? Because Yash Ji is on set, sitting on a plastic Neel Kamal chair.
Nice.
And he was 80 at the time of the film shoot.
Yeah.
Okay, I was 24. Or that energy that the man had was something else.
You know,
He would.
Jab Tak Hai Jaan is long, but it does not look like it's made by an 80-year-old.
Yeah.
It looks very fresh. Like it's
like, you know, once he passed away, they didn't do any edit on the film. They left it as Yash Ji had last seen.
That's why it's long.
That was so they didn't do any editing. They said no, this is how he had left it, and we're not going to touch it. And that's how they released it. And there were times when, dude, I was staying in the hotel. I was walking to go to the garden or whatever, and he's walking by me. He's looked at me, stopped. He said, "Beta, theek ho? Khana khaya apne?" And can you imagine for a 24-year-old newcomer to be asked by Yash Chopra if I have eaten food is something else. So I think like the humility, the modesty, and just the general sweetness flows into your work, regardless of whether you're a director, actor.
And you know that point that Kautuk makes,
very, very malnourished that day.
that point that Kautuk makes, that, you know, if you look at Jab Tak or you look at Dil To Pagal Hai, or even
Veer Zara.
So if Veer Zara, there is it's not a guy who was making films in the 70s.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the film in its making.
Can I tell you something?
The decade that it was made in. You know?
So Dil To Pagal Hai looks better than Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. Like when you look at it now.
Yes.
You know, in hindsight,
it stands the test of time.
More fresh than Kuch Kuch Hota Hai.
Yeah.
And
except for that balloon song.
No, but like even then, dude, for a guy who's that old to make a film that is that young,
Yeah.
with those many cool things, right? Like
Yeah.
Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, Dil To Pagal Hai, for all of us was the coolest shit we could watch.
In fact,
Dil To Pagal Hai, everybody wanted to scream and play drums like Shah Rukh Khan at one
And
point.
everybody
Guys, one
wanted
second.
that red DC car.
Yeah. You know something, by the way, Dil To Pagal is probably even fresher and more young than Befikri, which was made by his son now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And
For
more
sure.
relevant. Also, that's what I'm saying. Like, even if you look at it's again, I'm going back to his heartbreak sequence, bro. You look at his ability to tell a love story. He makes you fall in love with the protagonist and the antagonist.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. He does it so well.
Yeah.
He
Dude,
crafts
in fact,
it so well.
in fact, I read an interview recently about, so basically while shooting Dar, Shah Rukh and Sunny Deol had a
Feud.
issue, right, with each other, feud with each other, because Sunny is good guy in the film, but nobody,
You don't even
nobody,
Yeah.
nobody, when you say Dar, the first thing in your head is इसमें Sunny Deol है नहीं है किसी को या तो याद नहीं या तो
In fact,
फर्क नहीं
Anu
पड़ता
Kapoor
है.
is remembered before Sunny Deol.
Yeah. But so obviously Yash Chopra is there. But what I was thinking is, अभी बाबा सब तेरे age के लोगों के तो हो गया. Let's move to the. Let's move. Okay, the ones we know, but let's move to the 90s. Like us growing up, our formative years of watching Bollywood, right? For me, like a big part of 90s was literally sort of described by Abbas Mastan,
Of course.
Ram Gopal Verma,
Yeah.
Aditya Chopra, David Dhawan.
Yep.
Who else would you guys put? Suraj
Mansoor
Barjatya. Mansoor Khan, दो picture, JJWS और
Kayamat se QSQT.
Yeah. No, AHAH. AHAH भी था ना.
Suraj Barjatya, did you
AHH?
mention?
Oh yeah.
AHAH.
The Barjatya, did you mention?
AHAT. Yeah, Barjatyas, right? So-
AHAT, QSQT, JJWS.
Yeah. Now STFU, because I want to talk about
Perfect.
So in
Great.
the 90s, I think for me, the big part of 90s cinema watching for me was Abbas Mastan movies, right? Because they are for me one of the top directors who've made largely unoriginal films seem original.
Yeah.
You open the Wikipedia page for Abbas Mastan, there's a column.
Yeah.
Name of movie, year, and movie it was inspired from.
Inspired by.
There's a proper table.
But that's a
Really?
funny. That is so
Yeah.
Bazigar from?
Bazigar was Kiss Before
Kiss to
Good.
Remember.
Yeah.
A long kiss goodbye or something.
No, that was the Salman wala movie. This was a Kiss
yeah.
to Remember or something. A Kiss Before Good Night or something like that. It was.
Long kiss.
Every movie, bro. They are also the duo who made. Yeah, the Disclosure, एक movie थी with Demi Moore and Michael Douglas. They changed that to Aitraz. And by the way, a lot of these movies that have been adapted original films that they've made, they've gotten nominated for best directors.
Yeah.
By the way, can I tell you
of
something? So Siddhi and I were watching Race and Race 2 recently. Okay, and we thought.
Okay,
that,
can I ask you why?
I think these guys watch some weird movies. Yeah, the other day they were watching some other.
What I love about Abbas Mastan movies is it's like they've written a script.
Nobody has said that sentence in the history of mankind.
No, I have said that sentence.
I have said it.
When you can imagine when they're writing a script के अच्छा चलो script सीधी चल रही है भाई ये 10 पेज में कुछ हुआ नहीं ठीक है जो भी हुआ उसका opposite कर देंगे अभी just keep flipping it to the point it goes a full 360 by the end.
No, but there is also credit to be given in, of course, if you have to make original stuff. But case in point, another of my favorite, actually my most favorite director of all time, Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
As original as you think his cinema is, there is so much of it which is derived, borrowed, adapted from old movies. There's some adapted from like a porn movie also.
Yeah.
He's actually used the Crazy 88 scene, right? So it's not just.
But it's not just adaptations, right?
Correct.
It's almost homages, and he's bringing it into his thing. But he's telling a storytelling the way he wants to do it, which is what makes it original.
Correct. Because even now, dude, Bazigar for me is one of my favorite Bollywood movies. What a brilliant! And growing up in the 90s, your Abbas Mastan was staple diet. Bro,
Proper,
Soldier, Hamraz,
Soldier.
okay, not 90s. Hamraz was in 90s.
Soldier was
Ajnabi.
great.
Dude,
Bro,
Soldier was
Ajnabi.
fun. Soldier was fun.
Ajnabi, everything is planned, bro.
Yeah. By the way, so very few competent thriller directors in Bollywood generally.
Yeah.
Very few
Yeah.
competent. Like, so you can have a one-off and all that stuff, but these guys consistently delivered, and they know how to turn and twist those stories. However improbable it is, however laughable it is,
They
is
landed, no, in the
it
end.
is yeah, it is
Yeah.
plausible and believable.
Plausible.
They
Yeah.
landed
In-
in the end.
By the way, if you
thriller
guys didn't
directors,
know,
हाँ.
their surname is actually
Burma
Burma
वाला,
वाला.
yeah.
ठीक है.
Oh.
और तीन भाई है. तीन
अरे,
भाई है. तीसरा
तीसरा वाला?
एडिटर है. एडिटर
अरे!
है.
Oh.
मेरे को हमेशा लगता है तीसरा वाला इंग्लिश मूवी देखता है और आके इन लोग दोनों को बताता है.
But वो
All about
इंग्लिश
Bataran
मूवी
discuss
देखता है और
nepotism.
फिर मैच कट करता है.
Nice.
But you know, my highlight of one of my things. Sorry to interrupt, but I was hosting Filmfare Award red carpet, okay, few years back, and to my happiness, I see Abbas Mastan walking,
Nice.
pristine white,
White.
head to toe. चल के आ रहा हूँ, I couldn't control because like the kid in me, the 90s kid in me is like, नहीं भाई अब्बास मस्तान की पिक्चर है, भाग के क्या? बोला अब्बास भाई, मस्तान भाई, sorry, can I take a quick bite from you? हाँ ले लो. So मैं कैमरा टर्न किया, बोला अब्बास भाई, मस्तान भाई, you are one of the best directors in Bollywood. That's why I want to ask you a very very important question. And he's like, क्या है बोलो? ऐसे सर आपके ड्राई क्लीनर का नंबर क्या है? I have that video, dude. They laughed more.
Great joke. Great
So it's
joke.
like they're also super fun, chill,
Yeah.
like nice guys to work with.
Speaking of great thriller directors, I think Neeraj Pandey is doing an
Yeah.
absolutely great. Like he's keeping you hooked. Like whether it's Special 26 or
Wednesday.
Wednesday and all of that, he's doing a great job with thriller. You guys, can I just Kautuk, you mentioned comedy at the top. Like I think Rishikesh Mukherjee
Yeah.
set it up.
They are the
You know,
Diggaj.
set it
But
up.
then,
Is there a
you know who really carried the torch forward? David Dhawan.
Yes, he
Yes.
did.
David Dhawan has, I'm not even kidding. Like he has, I think he's had the most impact on my comedic sensibility.
I think David Dhawan or it is Govinda improvising scenes. A lot of David Dhawan, Govinda
More than anything else, it's Kader Khan's writing, bro.
Yeah.
It's Kader Khan's writing. Half
That's
the 90s
another
movies.
thing that has blown my mind, you know, that you'd realize that Kader Khan has written the jokes.
So
And
many.
you're like, what? It's
Yes.
but you know, one second, we'll go back to Bazigar for 1 second. You remember in Bazigar that Anarkali ka phone tha, ice cream khana zaruri hai?
Yes.
Best comedic scene in
Best
history.
history. If you think so, Johnny Lever in one interview I saw, he basically they just told him you have to get from point A. This is point A. You get to point B. Okay, so he has improvised from Anjali ka phone tha.
Ice cream खाना जरूरी है.
अंजलि का फोन था सीमा मिम साहब के बारे में बात करनी है टू अनारकली का
Anarkali ka
Ice cream खाना जरूरी है.
he has broken that down.
But actually,
Holy
dude, you know, Abbas Mastan and Johnny Lever are a good combination because a lot of Abbas Mastan movies have a side track of Johnny Lever doing things.
Yeah,
You know, it's almost like
but that's what it is.
But that came from
Johnny Lever
Rishikesh.
doing things.
It came from Rishikesh Mukherjee. It came from. It was always Mahmood. You know, Mahmood always had a sidetrack going in most of the old movies where the comedian always has a sidetrack.
Yeah. There was always comedy bhi hai in the film. Like
No, because because Bollywood
but
was
in a
never
Rishikesh
genre.
Mukherjee film,
Bollywood didn't have genres. Bollywood was the genre. So you you couldn't just make a thriller. You had to make comedy, thriller, love, romance, everything.
Dance,
You needed everyone in it.
Fighting.
with a
fight.
They would say fighting.
Fights, yeah.
यार इसमें dance, drama, action, fighting है. Fighting है.
so you know, like I think it also, like I'm not going to go back to Dada Saheb Phalke and Devanand and all of those guys. Obviously, while we have those, there's also the whole, like we've forgotten one of the most talented people in Indian cinema, which is Kishore Kumar.
For sure.
This guy has not only directed stuff, but he has genuinely again invented like comedy in film, whether it is through music, through his voice, through his
singing like with voices and sounds and making stupid like voice in one take. Like if you understand when he was making those like a lot of the all those sounds that he would make, it's in a live recording with with a 50-piece orchestra.
You know what?
Dude, that song Half Ticket, that Chil Chil Chilla Ke Gajri Sunai, where he sings the male and the female part. He sung it in one shot because the female singer didn't come on time. So he's like, I'm going to sing it, fuck it. And he sang both in one take.
You know something, the best thing about Kishore Kumar, and I want to know if there's someone like it now. Okay, the best thing about him was that he never took any of it seriously. Right? Like it was all fun and games. Like there was nothing about Bollywood that he was like, oh, this is my career or my filmography.
No, so I will tell you many stories after we finish the podcast, and you should ask me about these stories. But I'll tell you one story which so once a producer did not he was supposed to get paid or something like that. So the either it was a one part of the movie or whatever. So the producer didn't pay him. So he came to the set with half a mustache.
Yeah.
Lol.
He said मैं तेरा बाकी का दूंगा जब तू ये उड़ाऊंगा जब तू पैसा देगा उसके पहले मैं नहीं देता. Like what?
मैं कल से ऐसे कर रहा हूँ जब हर स्टैंड अप शो के पहले ना आधा मूंछ लेके जाऊंगा मैं.
The problem is Varun can't grow a mustache.
Yeah, Varun can't.
That is actually.
Lockdown में सिर्फ मूछ ही होगा ना before you get to the next stage.
But when you're talking about David Dhawan, the one movie that really, like, as a kid that I watched in the 90s the most, like, because when you're like Z TV, like, it was there over and over and over and over again, was Jodwa. That it used to come on, and I would just and then that background music became part of your day. Like, you was like, you're just roaming around and just
sorry to burst your bubble. Background music and the music for the film, as composed by Viju Shah, is actually from Deep Forest, which was a highly popular band.
But by the way, randomly they have Crazy Frog also as the theme. So when they're escaping from jail and stuff, it's Crazy Frog.
It's the same,
bro. In Hero Number One. Sorry. In Hero Number One, Govinda has done. To me, Hero Number One is a complete film. In its entirety, it spoofs itself also. It's that meta.
Oh, by the way, David Dhawan constantly is calling back to his old films. It's so weird and amazing.
One little cinematic universe.
Dude, but also by the way, Govinda and David Dhawan, okay, in their own way, in a different genre, for me, are Robert De Niro and Martin
Scorsese.
That's who they are.
Yes. Dude, the minute you said both their names together, right? मेरे दिमाग में Robert De Niro और Martin Scorsese. But अलग side के.
Christopher Nolan और Christian Bale का चल रहा है. But dude, अच्छा, by the way, Govinda was supposed to do Judwa. Salman called him and asked him for a favor. And Govinda did Salman Khan a favor and decided to let him have the movie.
But that's a good thing, because many years later, when Govinda's career was down in the dumps, he called Salman for a favor, and then
Achha, this is something I found out right now. Ramba, you remember the actress Ramba?
Yes.
Her voice is actually not hers, and
it's David Dhawan's.
It's neither David Dhawan or Kishore Kumar, but it's somebody else. It's a very popular Bollywood actress who voiced her.
Yeah, and that, by the way, that tradition continues with Katrina, Jacqueline.
But Ramba's voice was actually given by Taboo.
Wow.
Not surprising.
What? Like,
the thing with Taboo is, if she gives you her voice also, right, your acting only becomes better. Taboo is that level, that I'll only voice you and just single-handedly improve your performance.
Oh, by the way, can I talk about two directors, very influential directors who have made an impact on me, and who both peaked in 2001. Okay, their names are Farhan Akhtar and Ashutosh Gavarikar.
Yeah.
Dil Chahta Hai, Lagan, same year, gone. Okay,
it's all Amir Khan's fault. This is Amir Khan's fault.
Yeah, both.
But honestly, two movies so iconic. It sort of lets Bollywood be at a certain pedestal that it's at, because along with a lot of Kachra Patti, we've also made some amazing movies, and for me, Dil Chahta Hai and Lagan to
we should definitely go to the that. But Dil Chahta Hai, Lagan, I think also because they came out in that year and were such great successes, I think it changed Bollywood in terms of
Oh yeah.
what
Heavily.
it's allowed to make.
By the way,
Uh,
I genuinely believe after those two films came out that Bollywood started believing in the concept of a script, like a bound script. I genuinely think those two films were responsible.
No,
for
but
giving
think
the
about this,
concept.
dude. Like, as a director, when you come out, you're making two technically groundbreaking films, right? Which obviously you have some sort of inkling of when you're writing it.
Yeah.
Right? Because तू लिखते वक्त खुद पढ़ रहा है, actors तेरे तुम लोग test कर रहे हो, y'all are rehearsing, whatever. Like, could they have imagined the impact those two movies would single-handedly have on filmmaking in general, bro?
no.
Haircuts, getting the right sort of hair, the new hair. I mean, it's a very
I think the
small
biggest thing-
aesthetic thing, but it's so important because after that, having a salon as part of your design team for the film became a thing. पहले तो यार actresses के बाल बनाएगा.
But that's also because of Aamir. And on Dil Chahta Hai,
I feel like the biggest thing that these movies accomplished was make Aamir Khan release 2 movies in the same year. I think accomplishment that these 2 movies did.
But also with Dil Chahta Hai, I read this fact about how Farhan actually wanted to play Aamir's role in Dil Chahta Hai,
Wow.
which to me is baffling. And I'm sure that some producer said, "Bro, please, nahi hoga. You just direct it, please."
आप अच्छा लिखते हो, आप acting करो, acting मत करो, direct करो.
And
नहीं,
Farhan
लेकिन
was like, "पर दिल चाहता है."
I don't know
No,
if
but-
this is true or not. It's on the internet.
No, it could have been, bro, क्योंकि वो वैसे भी आया and Farhan's not half bad an actor, dude. He's also a pretty good actor. Like,
He apparently thinks he's a better actor.
But I
than
would love
director.
if Farhan Akhtar was singing all the
I
songs in
disagree,
Dil Chahta Hai also. Like, जाने क्यों लोग प्यार करते. That would be fun. Epic.
no, but you know, in fact, even in Dil Chahta Hai, like the whole, एक तो Goa tourism went off the roof, right?
Arey,
Or
every
I
time
think
this Aamir does something, no, it's a problem.
It's not just Aamir, bro. I think it's the Akhtar
It's
family.
Bollywood.
ठीक है?
Curly's
It's the Akhtar family.
का roof गिर गया होगा क्योंकि सब लोग को ऊपर जाके बैठना था वहाँ पे Curly's पे.
नहीं, Tomatina with Zoya.
Yeah, so ये वाले से स्पेन का टूरिज्म हो गया, इससे गोवा का हो गया, और फिर सलीम जावेद ने शोले लिखी तो उससे रामगढ़ का हो गया.
And Zoya Akhtar के वजह से दिल धड़कने दो से people started going on cruises. So they basically just upped the entire Indian tourism market. Just the Akhtar.
But you know, think about this, right? Even when Lagan came out, like Dil Chahta Hai, at least obviously it's still something plausible that when you write, you're like, हाँ ये बन सकता है. But Lagan में when you sit, especially for Ashutosh Gowarikar, who sort of was a fading actor also, right? He was an actor. वो पहला नशा करके movie में था, right?
Bro, वो चमत्कार में था, bro.
हाँ, और वहाँ से he's writing the film because I've seen the making of Lagan का पूरा जो documentary था ना वो पढ़ा है. And at that point of time, at a budget of 25 crores, was the most expensive Bollywood film to be put on floors, right? So as Ashutosh Gowarikar, fading actor, when you sit, you open your whatever laptop, typewriter, जैसे भी लिख रहा था, to write a film which says 1857 Champaner, Indian farmers beat English players
Long
at
line.
a game
cricket
of
match.
cricket match. कोई भी पढ़ के बोलेगा भाई क्या है, कौन बनाने वाला है, ऐसा. How I think it takes some serious guts and gumption to be able to put this in.
There is one story, one apocryphal story about this, which is that so Ashutosh Gowarikar knew Aamir Khan from his acting days.
Yeah. Pehla Nasha, na, they were together.
Exactly, Pehla Nasha. And
I think Atank also.
Also Bazi.
Bazi,
Not Atank. Bazi.
Bazi was directorial.
Yeah.
Of Die Hard.
So Ashutosh Gowarikar writes a script, okay, and he comes to Aamir Khan and he says, "Aamir, here's my script." Okay, Aamir reads it and he's like, "This is really bad." Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
अच्छा नहीं है. Better करो.
So Aamir tells him, take some time, okay, write something good and then come back to me. And if it's good, I will do it. Okay. And so he took like a year and a half off just to write Lagan. And it makes sense because that's how long Lagan was.
But he went with the script to not just Aamir. He went to Aamir first. Aamir said no. He's gone to Shah Rukh, to Hrithik, to Abhishek Bachchan, and finally back to Aamir.
Abhishek Bachchan said no to Lagan. Like, how does that figure?
Lagan said no to Abhishek Bachchan. Script ने बोला कि नहीं मैं नहीं करने वाली.
You know, so like, sorry. Varun, you were saying something. Bol.
No, so I was saying, इतने लोग को ना बोल के finally went down to doing it, right? And once you see that movie come out, that movie was a festival. You
Yes.
went to a theater to watch it. It was a festival. And I think once, even as budding filmmakers or his peers or his contemporaries, when they see this, it sort of fills you also with a certain sense of, nahi bhai, we can attempt something that ambitious.
Yeah.
You know, because it's easy to just write it down. It's an altogether different ball game to make it
To
happen
make it,
as
man.
well
Absolutely.
as it did, right? So I think a large part of your big budget magnum opuses sort of things that
Yeah.
come in, because I'm sure he also got that push from like a Mughal-e-Azam being made back in the day, right? That you feel that you can attempt. I think in modern day it was Lagan, bro.
Mughal-e-Azam has influenced one director particularly is Sanjay Leela Bhansali.
Correct.
There is a torchbearer for
But if you look at Sanjay Leela Bhansali's filmography, according to me, I think it's the only filmography whose path is actually downward
No. What?
in terms of quality of the story. I think just like if you look at it, his best film is Khamoshi.
100%.
hands up.
100%.
Okay, Khamoshi, then Black, then
Yeah.
Hum Dil De Chuke Sanam. So I'm saying, but and then it
No,
starts
but
to like
wait,
Devdas.
one second. He's not the best example for this. Ram Gopal Verma is the best example.
अरे उसके राम गोपाल वर्मा के बारे में अपन एक सेपरेट पॉडकास्ट कर सकते हैं, bro, because
करना भी चाहिए.
करना भी चाहिए.
There is
But
a good
actually,
chance Ram
before
Gopal
we,
Verma will join us on that podcast.
no, but before we go to Sanjay Bansali, actually, let's talk about Ram Gopal Verma, because he is also somebody who was there,
Man,
ऐसे through 90s, going into 2000s, and then just oblivion.
fell off
Right?
a cliff.
And
Yeah.
I think he also still, like, obviously when he started, he was doing movies down south and stuff, right? And he was the one guy who, even at the beginning of his career, is trying to take risks.
Yeah.
Like he was one who was making neo-noirs almost, bro.
Yeah.
Down
Always.
south.
What is Satya, dude?
Even Satya ke pehle, bro, Siva.
Siva.
His,
Yeah.
his South wala movie. Right?
Nagarjuna.
Yeah.
Nagarjuna.
Then he did Raat with Revati, that horror film that I was telling about in one of our podcasts.
Dude,
But
I was scared.
for me, Ram Gopal Verma's range is seen in Rangila, bro.
Yeah.
What a movie. And
Yeah.
in fact, that movie got adapted in the US
Yes.
as a Winner Date with Tad Hamilton or something like that, it was called.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
God.
I think it would be Todd Hamilton, just in
Todd. Yeah, Todd Hamilton. My bad.
Just a little Hamilton, not too much Hamilton, just a tad Hamilton.
He's a tad Todd. No, but in fact, uska itna tha that Rangila, which is like a romantic comedy, you have horror, you have noir, then from there
Crime.
you jump.
Dude, you
Yeah,
have
hardcore
Satya, you
crime.
have Company, you have Dodd.
And I don't like Dodd as much, but
But
Company.
it's a road film, dude.
Yeah.
Dodd.
I
And
mean,
he's no. I'm saying like to me, even that Darna Mana Hai Part 2, which is
Yeah.
Ram Gopal Verma.
Yeah.
Like I mean, everything. I mean, Company is unreal as a film.
unreal, bro.
You know
It's
something?
so
You know
good.
something?
True or
You know
Thera
why?
Company.
You know why I really miss the Ram Gopal Verma horrors? Because ever since he stopped making them, we've had to settle for Vikram Bhatt. That's like it's not the same.
In Company,
You know,
like Ram Gopal Verma's biggest thing was like, dude, how did he hide the fact that Vivek Oberoi is like not that
A bad
good?
actor.
No, so
Why the sunglasses?
I'm going to come to.
I like how Aadar is trying to find words to not insult Vivek Oberoi.
अरे बाजू में रहता है यार नहीं यार that-
Okay.
So the other thing about Ram Gopal Verma, right? Nobody does crime like he does crime, bro.
Nobody.
Like Satya, मुंबई का किंग कौन भीकू मात्रे, ये डायलॉग मैं ऐसे बीच पे जाके चिल्लाता था, ठीक है, सत्या देखने के बाद. What
But
was
people-
that movie, bro?
It was great. You know what he did for the climax, right? In Satya, he did not tell Saurabh Shukla and the other guys that, because he didn't reveal the script to them. He basically kept the fact that Manoj Bajpayee is going to get shot. Spoiler alert. For a 90s film.
Sorry, 20 years too late. If you've not watched Satya, you deserve to hear this spoiler.
So that Manoj Bajpayee is going to get shot. He kept that information from the actors. And if you look at the sequence where Saurabh Shukla reacts, it's a hidden camera.
wow.
Like he's hidden the
Because
camera.
Ram Gopal Verma's camera angles are
always
No, I'll tell you, it's like this.
it's basically Rahul
सबके नाक के अंदर दिख
sketch.
Dude, we actually did a sketch back in the day, okay? Tanmay and I, when we were writing for this channel V show, and the sketch is basically that there is a reporter who's reporting with Ram Gopal Verma who's shooting inside Amitabh Bachchan's nose. So we made a green screen, it's Amitabh Bachchan's nose and Ram Gopal Verma is shooting there. क्योंकि उसका सब coffee table के नीचे, chandelier के ऊपर, इधर से लटक.
But
And
that's not true for Satya and company.
No, he became a parody of himself later.
Yeah. What was Ram Gopal Verma ki aag, dude? So in Satya, he's kept that information. One decision as a director that he took in company, that Mohanlal will not be dubbed.
Wow, bro, that was the best.
Just what a decision to say. और मैं भी छंदू नहीं हूँ. What a great, like it's unreal.
आज से तू और तुम्हारी company. Kalas.
Yeah. So well done. And that decision makes it so real. It's so great as a decision,
for sure.
Dude.
And what a great, inspired casting to have Mohanlal in it, bro. You have a plethora of actors from Bollywood.
But he was also going for realism, no?
Of course.
Going for realism. So
you know what I feel bad about some of the South directors is that they always, if they're successful, they're condemned to make their same movie again and again in Bollywood.
Yeah.
Right? And Bollywood guys don't have to do that. Like Bollywood guys don't go and make the same film in Kannada. Like it doesn't.
Yeah. Okay. By the way, Manoj Bajpayee in Satya, he was scared of heights, and the scene where he goes Mumbai ka King Khan. He was so scared of standing on that cliff and saying the dialogue. He took so long. Like by the time they got ready, Bajpayee is actually screaming, "Please get me out of here!" And they later dubbed the dialogue. Bajpayee is screaming, "Please get me out!"
One second, he's screaming in English.
Yeah, he's like, he was scared of heights. He was scared of heights, and he didn't want to stand at the edge and say that dialogue. So Bajpayee just worried and just screaming, "Get me out of here!" That's what shot, and they redubbed it.
That's crazy. But in fact, not even this, but Ram Gopal Verma ka ye tha one movie of his that always sort of slips under the radar, which is not in your eye, but I think it was like a genre defining film and also nothing similar. Yes, Gone. Bro, what was that movie? The first time I watched that movie, my mind was blown. It was blown. I said, 1 second, aisa picture banaya kaise? And it is so convincingly done. Like,
by the way,
you don't see the suspense coming. You don't see the flip coming.
Varun, remember you and I were talking about this. We were talking about it and we were saying it's the perfect movie to be remade in a quarantine.
In quarantine.
Because it's set in one house. It has
एक location और 3 actor.
That's it.
Damn, so well done.
Even when Ram Gopal Verma, like he sort of made a resurrection after his things with Sarkar, which again,
kind of resurrection.
Like to me, Sarkar 1, Sarkar 2, great film. It's genuinely great.
That's not Sarkar, by the way. People are confused. That's Don Corleone. अरे अमित जी का पोस्टर क्यों है तेरे घर पे? अमित जी नहीं है.
I feel like,
but he came back with Sarkar for sure. लेकिन उसके बाद वापस गया वो. उससे सरकार 2 बनाया, फिर कुछ और हो गया. राम गोपाल वर्मा की आग, this that, and then I think he became too good for himself. Like I said, he became a parody of himself. After a point, I'm just like, Ramu, kidhar hai tu?
Like even if you see the attack of 26/11 which he made, it's not a gripping Ram Gopal Verma kind of thing.
And considering he was one of the first people to reach the site because Vilas Rao Deshmukh took him there after the 26/11 attacks.
Yeah.
उसके बाद भी तूने गंदा पिक्चर बनाया.
Yeah.
Right? You were the literally first responder without really having to respond.
Yeah.
Right? And then now I don't know what he's doing. He was recently making some movie called Rai or something, and just gone.
He released something on YouTube called Guns, Thighs, and something else.
ये देखना यार क्या
it was literally softcore. It was nothing more than softcore. It was that's what it was. And by the way, if you haven't, please follow him on Twitter. It is unbelievably entertaining. It is so entertaining. Like he put up this one video where it's just him punching a bunch of guys in a room.
Trolls.
Yeah, something like that. Exactly.
So it's like a meme, huh?
30-40 people and he's punching.
And there should have been a soundtrack. Govinda, 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 Govinda. But anyway, now we'll let Baba speak about something he's been controlling for very, very long.
3,
So Baba,
2,
take
1.
it away.
Mani Ratnam.
But
No,
before that, let me talk about Dibakar Banerjee.
No, you know what? I think that genuinely, I know everyone's going to be mad saying that we've missed out this one, whether it's Satyajit Ray or whether it's Ritik Ghatak or whether there's a ton of filmmakers that we've genuinely missed out on. Who's the guy who did Robot and Shivaji and
Shankar.
Like another force of nature. But I think that if you just look at Mani Ratnam, I think he's the one guy who has shot every song differently. If you
That's
talk
such a
about
strange observation. Nice.
But you look at Mani Ratnam, he's the only guy it's like he takes a camera and he's like, "Acha location hai, shoot karte." But it's so beautiful. Like his songs are raw, his songs are authentic. They're original. They're part of the narrative. Whether you look at it in Bombay, whether you look at it in Guru, whether you look at it in Yuva, whether you look at it in,
Bombay is
him and A.R. Rahman are Spielberg and John Williams.
Yeah, for sure.
Incomplete.
Or Nolan and Hans Zimmer.
Yeah. Those two need to be together.
Dude, everything just gets so elevated, right? His music just elevates with the visuals that he has in mind or the story at hand. And his story gets elevated with the kind of music. Like Bombay, मैं अभी भी सोचता हूँ ना, मेरे को goose pimples आता है, bro.
Yeah.
What was that? Like Tu Hi Re is so like I can't even wrap my head around how amazing that movie had such a big impact on me. Bombay, because obviously very close, relatable. Bombay में हुआ था सब ये वो, and the kid who plays Arvind Swamy and Manisha Koirala's kid, the twins, one of my really close friends in school looked identical. तो मैं थिएटर में पिक्चर देख के आया, इट्स रियली लाइक अफेक्टेड मी. फिर अगले दिन स्कूल आया है और हमने कहा, अरे जुबिन तू पिक्चर में था. It was crazy.
It's the triplet who nobody cared about. It's like मेरे बाकी लोग भाई कास्ट हो गए, मेरे को नहीं कास्ट किया.
वो स्कूल में आ रहा था मेरे साथ.
वो अब्बास मस्तान का एडिटर वाला सीन. The thing is, if you just look at Roja, Thiruda, Dil Se,
Alai Payate.
Oh God, Dil Se, man.
Yeah. All his narrative telling style, like even the fact is that he works so hard with his DPs to be able to keep that film raw. Like if you just if you see the Tamil version of Satya,
with Madhavan, no?
Yeah, with Madhavan, you see the camera work there, and then Adi, who was his first AD over there, when he made it here.
Shahad Ali made it.
Shahad Ali. Sorry.
Adi Chopra after directing Dilwale Dulhania Din, when he was assisting.
But when Shahad made Satya, the story holds, but it's not as raw as Madhavan's opening scene on his RX 100. Riding through.
मेरे को अभी भी तू साथिया बोला ना, you know what comes to my mind? साथिया, साथिया, मधम तेरी पीली हंसी.
We don't have to worry about Varun singing because copyright can never catch it only.
What a great joke.
Chhaya was virtually impossible to shoot the way it was shot in the 90s.
Chhaya was a great.
It was incredible that they managed to shoot it the way they did it. Up till that point, random, like now that I think about it, the kind of gear that they had and they had to really push the equipment.
Shot on film, not digital.
And shot on film.
The thing, and Santosh Sivan. So it's not like Santosh Sivan is actually said, "Ek light udhar laya, ek light idhar laya." It's not, this is not.
But also you've got Shah Rukh Khan, which is a danger in itself because you don't want your lead actor to get hurt on the top of a bloody train.
And Shah Rukh goes all out. Shah Rukh won't be conservative in his dancing. Oh, jump marega. Niche khaiye.
You know the section, right?
Everybody knows. All of us have hurt our knees trying to do that at some point.
And I actually did that with Shah Rukh during Jab Tak Hai Jaan final day of shoot. And we had a rap party. और पता मैंने क्या किया?
जब तक है जान के बारे में बात करता रहेगा. जब तक है जान.
ब्रो एक ही तो अच्छा बड़ा चीज था यार बॉलीवुड में जो किया है, जितना मिल्क कर सकता हूँ करूंगा.
If you look at, sorry, I'm going to go back to Mani Ratnam for 2 minutes and then we can go back to whatever we want to talk about.
This podcast is because Baba talks about Mani Ratnam and we don't let him.
And stories of
call
and
Neville.
things about Yasji.
Please call Neville and discuss Mani Ratnam. That is a new
So
comment.
if you just see even OK Kanmani, I don't know if you've seen OK Kanmani.
Yeah, I watched it. It got made to OK Janu.
Yeah.
Again by Shad Ali.
Oh really? What? Shad only made it? Okay. So if you look at OK Kanmani, just even the narrative, like he's one of those guys again who's not telling a story that's in the 70s.
Yeah.
He's telling a story that's
now.
of 2017, 2018, and he tells it in a way that's now. He's still making films differently, which is what makes him such a stunning filmmaker.
In fact, like even that movie, yaar, jisme tha na Ravan. So they made it as a bilingual, right? Or trilingual, in fact. So I saw the South Indian version. Very different experience.
But Abhishek Bachchan still in it? Or different?
No. Vikram.
Vikram plays the role of
in this he played Ram ka character और उसमें वो रावण का play किया.
Dude, Vikram does like he does it way. I don't know why, but like Vikram was a way better actor for that role.
You know, one guy we've missed out in the 90s who actually was really influential to making certain films is Vidhu Vinod Chopra. You know, like just like even now he obviously does some
you know what vibe he gives me? He gives me this very FTII student, like who
is an FTII student.
Correct, who makes indie movies but then by mistake went to mainstream.
Like Parinda.
Yeah.
Bro, what a movie!
Film. Very, very good, dude.
But it makes too much money.
Parinda, 1942, A Love Story are two really, really good films.
Shibhankar.
I haven't watched that. मैं Mission Kashmir भी देखा.
No, Shibhankar is Jackie Shroff's name in 1942.
I thought there was a movie called Shibhankar made by Vidhu.
I like एक लड़की को देखा जो ऐसा लगा it's like the actress didn't show up तो उन्होंने बोला कि अनिल जी आप बाली के साथ ही गाना गा दीजिए and the rest Anil Kapoor is just singing to
but what I mean if you look at Parinda just the fact that I mean what Kautuk is saying, right? Like he's an indie filmmaker who's just accidentally made a hit where they've intentionally shot, and again him and Binod Pradhan together. Okay,
super.
And Binod Pradhan is insane. He's probably one of my favorite DPs.
DOPs, yeah.
So the fact that they've underlit every shot, and you know, like intentionally darkened because they want that feeling, right? When you remember that scene where where Jackie Shroff throws things and completely burns Nana Patekar's house down in Parinda. Can you imagine shooting that in film on film with like such low light and then suddenly drastically changing to like there's so much fire and it's not like you have time to change exposure and shit. Like, how do you do this?
But you know, we can't talk about 90s and not talk about like again
Subhash guy.
Tera naam.
No, by the way, one second about also Subhash guy is the original Stanley, so let's give him that credit. But about
who is the original? Who is the duplicate Hitchcock? That's who you know.
Correct. Yeah. So Vidhu Vinod Chopra, I don't know if you've read this book called Maximum City. So there's an
Hussain Zaidi.
No,
Suketu Mehta.
Suketu Mehta
is Black Friday.
Yeah.
Black Friday.
So he has an entire chapter.
Varun has a Kindle. He didn't say it.
Please, I will send you the Kindle link. So he has an entire chapter dedicated to Vidhu Vinod Chopra, and it's one of the most hilarious chapters in the entire book. There's one particular instance where they're like, they go to meet this boy, and this boy is being signed for the film, okay? And it turns out, like, after a couple of paragraphs, you see, oh, that boy was Hrithik Roshan.
Yeah, Mission Kashmir.
And he's signed Hrithik Roshan. He signed Sanjay Dutt, okay? The script is possibly not ready. He doesn't have money. He's made a poster with Sanjay Dutt and Hrithik Roshan. And now he's about to go to investors, but before that, Sanjay Dutt has the stuff he has to go to jail and everything. Sanjay Dutt comes out. ऋतिक रोशन का तब तक कल ये दूसरी
कहो ना प्यारे आया था.
कहो ना प्यारे
कहो ना
released.
प्यारे.
Now suddenly this guy doesn't have a script, but he has a poster, and based on that one poster, he got all the funding for the film. And
Yeah.
It was based on Ritik's success, not the poster.
Yeah.
Bro.
So you know something that in the chapter of Maximum City where he meets everyone from Bollywood,
Yeah.
Ketu Mehta sums up Bollywood in one line.
Yeah.
It's like the people who make Bollywood movies are smarter than the movies they make.
Which is also extremely true.
Very funny, very true.
You know, so.
But sorry, I was going back to the 90s, right? Vidhu Vinod Chopra to bola, but we can't forget Karan Johar. No.
Oh.
Karan Johar.
Karan Johar.
And
Mahesh Bhatt,
Rajkumar
obviously,
Santoshi.
वो तो है, but I'm saying, like, in terms of, like, see, Rajkumar Santoshi, Mahesh Bhatt, these guys have consistently given good movies. You think about it, Zakam, कौन सा है?
Sajan, Sadak.
Sajan, Sadak. ठीक है, उसके बाद कौन सा है वो?
दिल है कि मानता नहीं.
Daddy, दिल है कि मानता नहीं. They were
Sir.
all like,
Okay, by the way,
Sir.
like दिल है कि मानता नहीं, sir. And then suddenly हम है राही प्यार के, which is just
superb.
which is
Superb.
जुनून.
वो टाइगर बन जाता है जिसमें राहुल रॉय.
Werewolf.
टाइगर बन गया.
Tiger.
If you've not watched this movie, you have to watch it. It's a movie where erstwhile superstar Rahul Roy on a full moon night turns into a lion and not
tiger.
A wolf.
Yeah, all you need to know.
Tiger, it's not a
all you
wolf.
need to know is that it was the original Tiger King. Okay, that's all you need.
Yeah.
It's much better. There's no Carol Baskin.
Yeah. No, but I'm actually talking about Karan Johar. Why? Because not only did he influence a whole generation of directors, but a generation of film-going audience, bro.
Yeah.
Like that film-going audience.
They're called NRIs.
I still know, not just NRIs, bro. Abhi apne idhar wali public. Do you guys remember where you were when you watched Kuch Kuch Hota Hai? I remember
watching it in the
I was in Gaiety
family.
Galaxy, Bandra.
I saw it in apna Chandan theater, and my dad took us, and we couldn't get tickets for the balcony. पापा के साथ जा रहे हैं तो मतलब balcony का सीट तो मिलेगा at least. नहीं, हम लोग 5th row from the screen ऐसे देख रहे हैं कुछ कुछ.
Iodex seats.
Yeah.
Iodex seats.
But dude, it's still the thing with Kuch Kuch Hota Hai is I will still watch it. If I was skimming through the TV and it came on, I would watch it because it has that weird connect that holds true even today. I feel.
Yeah, मैं घर पे जाके अपनी माँ पे poem लिखी थी वो picture के बाद. Like, if I have a mother, I should write a poem about her. At some point.
By the way, that movie is the most sensitive that Salman Khan has ever been. I don't know if you remember his.
I don't know if you've seen a movie called Veer Gati.
Veer Gati, of course.
In Veer Gati, Salman's acting in Veer Gati is outstanding.
बिछड़ा
No, you think I'm joking? I am not.
देख के उसको लाएगा एक दिन प्यार हमारा आएगा.
Varun, if you keep it this long, the copyright might catch one note.
Yeah.
So careful.
No, I can't believe you mentioned that movie because this was one of my favorite songs, bro, back in the day, and it's from Veer Gati.
Yeah. Veer Gati, great film.
Right. So again, like talking about Karan Johar only, going forward from Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, उसका एक style हो गया to a point where it became like his shtick.
Yeah,
right, his shtick.
And by the way, I think the Karan Johar's style of filmmaking or his directorial like range was completely exhausted in Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gham. I think that was all of Karan Johar in one film. That film is incredibly.
I think that was all the glycerin in India also was.
Yeah, no, but it was like it had every hallmark of Karan Johar, right? All the family stuff, all the Punjabi stuff. Yeah,
you know, NRI, Shahrukh, love, betrayal, धोखा, family problem, भाई बहन, भाई जा रहा है सौतेला बेटा, मतलब तू जो सोच सकता है तू सब.
Rich family
and Sixth Sense. And we've got Jaya Bachchan Sixth Sense in the film.
Yeah. Like, but after that, right, if you see the rest of it that came in, right, Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gham तो ठीक है. उसके बाद तू देख कभी अलविदा ना कहना और ये कौन सा रणबीर वाला अभी जो किया है दिल है मुश्किल. Like it again like
of the year.
It again almost like Ram Gopal Verma becoming a parody of yourself. Like when you do your stuff the same way so many times that as a viewer I'm like अरे यार मेरे को मालूम है क्या होने वाला है. मैंने स्क्रिप्ट नहीं पढ़ी है, मैंने देखा नहीं है.
Yeah.
Like,
But
like,
it's like watching an episode of Coffee with Karan. It's like I know.
Funny. But
dude, so much so, if you watch that Ghost Stories that came out,
Yeah.
right? Karan Johar has done a bit
I
in
saw
that
that.
Ghost
Yeah, I
Story.
saw that. Yeah.
Even that seems like it's K3G. क्योंकि घोस्ट फिल्म में, शॉर्ट फिल्म में बड़ा सबसे खर्चा किस पे? एक वेडिंग सीन पे.
Yeah, but if you
the-
see Lust Stories
Can I-
and the Karan Johar film in the Lust Stories thing, I think it's a pretty nicely told.
The Last Stories one is
story.
actually good. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
the thing
in Last
is with directors, right? It's a boon and a curse, which is that the really good directors have a very distinct way of telling a story. But the problem is that distinct way also becomes repetitive if you
Yeah.
Then
if you're
you
not
should,
careful.
but then you should know how to stop. Like look at Suraj Barjatia. Okay, like Suraj Barjatia. Also, if you look at Suraj Barjatia's filmography, it's literally his life stages. मैंने प्यार किया is innocent love.
Also,
हम
I
आपके
don't
हैं
think
कौन is just about to
Yeah.
become is just about to fall in love. Then
Yeah.
there is हम साथ साथ है which is now married and
Too
going
much
to
love.
get pregnant. Then there is मैं प्रेम की दीवानी हूँ which is confusion and like oh
which is anything.
That is LSD.
1 second.
मैं प्रेम की
then
दीवानी
there is
हूँ.
Vivaha. Then there's Vivaha. Then
Wait.
No,
there's
we are going back. We are
Prem
going
Ratan
back.
Dhanpa.
We are
Yeah.
going back to मैं प्रेम की दीवानी हूँ
Yeah.
because when you are the director of मैंने प्यार किया, of हम आपके हैं कौन, of हम साथ साथ है, तू क्या सोच के
No, but
मैं
I know
प्रेम
what
की
it is.
दीवानी हूँ
I know what it
बताएगा,
is.
bro.
I know what it is. Very few directors, like we've said Yash Chopra, we've said Mani Ratnam, who have been able to carry forward into the present day and make a present day looking film.
Yeah.
But the majority of directors don't know what the youth are like anymore. So, मैं प्रेम की दीवानी हूँ is what Suraj
Yeah, it's
Barjatia
him trying
thought-
to think what youth is.
Yeah, but it's from his lens, right? Like there's a joke, no? There was a joke that said there's 4 kitty parties that are taking place in a restaurant. Oh, it looks like it's a research for Suraj Barjatia's next film. I mean, the joke is that like it's always going to be rooted in that, but they wanting to be today, right? Even if you look at
Right.
Prem Ratan Dhanpayo, which is his most recent one.
No, I won't look at it. I won't
I
look at
will
it.
not. No,
It starts with हम आपके हैं कौन. Sorry, not हम आपके. Sorry, हम साथ साथ हैं. When you
Correct.
see हम
Yeah.
साथ साथ हैं, that's the first time you see. Just look at Saif's character. Okay, that's what they thought was cool. And
Yeah.
and
He's
Cool
the
and-
millennial. He's the millennial.
And yo,
yeah, and you could see that right then they were old fashioned, and then they came all the way to.
Yeah.
मैं
I
प्रेम
mean,
की
even
दीवानी
let's also quickly move to a couple of other.
No, so
like,
let's move right now to contemporary अपना 90s हो गया, 2000s हो गया,
Zoya.
but then came a spate of filmmakers.
Which
So you have your Anurag Kashyap, you have your Dibakar Banerjees, you have your Zoya Akhtar, you have Reema Kakti, Vikramaditya Motwane,
Meghna Gulzar, Shakun Batra.
Shakun Batra, Meghna Gulzar, all these young new
Would you count
filmmakers.
Aditya Dhar, Aditya Dhar,
Yeah.
dude.
Would you count like
Aditya
Meera
Dhar.
Nair as a contemporary director or earlier? Like
I mean, but she's also
great
very,
director, but
no,
she's
she's
not.
super.
like doing like working constantly now. Like the directors we've named are doing like a movie every year. You know, like
Yeah.
would you? Yeah. So is she like a Ram Gopal Verma section that school or like she's the next batch?
She's always been like, you know what they call the parallel cinema. Like she
Yeah.
has been more parallel than any of the other directors we've mentioned.
Like, you know,
and who are
she's
all
that-
also parallel.
Yeah.
There's also Sham Benegal and there's like, you know,
Yeah.
those
Kapoor.
like genuinely great like
Ritu Porno Ghosh,
You know
Sham
what?
Benegal.
You know what the weirdest thing Meera
Ashwini
Nair's
Sen.
films are like? What impression they leave on me? They, even though large parts of them are in Hindi, they just feel like English movies. I don't know why.
Yeah. No, her sensibilities come from there. Na?
Yeah.
She's very anglicized like that if you think
Yeah.
about it. Like even
Like
now she's doing.
Namesake was an English movie.
Namesake
In
was
my
an
head, it was an English movie running. Yeah.
Right, but like again, let's talk about. I'll start with talking about Ram Gopal Verma, not Ram Gopal Verma.
Why
Anurag
wouldn't-
Kashyap. No, Anurag Kashyap because he is one of the few people who came from the Ram Gopal Verma camp.
Do you know
Satya-
Manoj Bajpayee?
Satya-
Manoj Bajpayee introduced
Yeah,
Anurag
bro,
Kashyap.
dialogue किसने लिखा है?
yeah,
किसने
Kashyap has
लिखा है?
written Satya.
Kashyap
Yeah,
has
he
written.
has.
Who has written Kaun? Kashyap.
कौन किसने लिखा? अच्छा.
हाँ, कौन Kashyap ने लिखा है? Bro, so a lot of them sort of came from, like, they must also be like full fanboys of Ram Gopal Varma, right?
Yeah.
Trying to emulate what he does. And I think Kashyap was one of the few who, because he also came from a very modest background, no filmmaking experience or anything, just this under say will and want to be able to come out and do something. Jazba, and he's done some amazing stuff. Like Black Friday is still hands down one of the best Bollywood films ever made. I will come.
The
Panch, Black Friday.
By the way, Panch didn't come out.
Yeah.
Panch didn't release, लेकिन मेरे को मिली थी illegally.
सबको
You
मिली
know
थी
what is-
illegally.
You know what is Panch? तूने शैतान देखा है? Which was Bijoy Nambiar.
Yeah.
Bijoy Nambiar, Shaitan and Panch are very
Similar.
By the way, this is based on a real case that happened in Pune.
Correct.
There were college kids who actually did this. Like there were serial murders that took place. And Panch and one film before that, Nana Patekar played the guy before this.
Yeah.
In a movie. Yeah. And
But look at him, bro. Look at Kashyap. Like even he is the kind of guy who has his own brand of filmmaking now, right?
Very
You
distinct.
can very distinct. अच्छा वो गाली वाली ठीक है, Heartland stories ठीक है ये वो, but there is a certain this of style and substance both coming together. You know, like you look at his adaptation of Devdas. Devdi was a super cool film. You know what is going to happen from the beginning. अभी वही problem है, just like a lot of other directors we mentioned, कि he gets very self-indulgent sometimes.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Like I can
which is
almost
what to me
imagine.
Vasipur is.
I can almost imagine him sitting at the TV assist and be like, "Wow, yaar, kya banaya maine mast." He is like, you know, because if you look at No Smoking again, very highly debated. No Smoking picture देखा? देखा है
John
picture?
Abraham.
किसी को समझा?
I went for that movie.
फिर भी बहुत अच्छी लगी movie. I love the movie.
Understand that movie came out after Black Friday, okay? And me and my father got so excited when No Smoking was coming. हम लोग 10 बजे का सुबह का शो देखने गए, okay? And खाली theater है for some reason. हम लोग बैठे.
With good reason, Aadar. It's a movie directed by Anurag Kashyap, and you're at a morning show.
And it has John Abraham in it.
And
It's probably you, your dad, and me and my girlfriend making out of the back.
Also understand that as viewers, we are expecting another Black Friday kind of a film, and suddenly you see No Smoking. Me and my father were so angry कि हम लोग को सुबह उठ के जाना पड़ा. Both of us started fighting after the film for no reason because we were just angry that we had to go.
Cigarette भी लेने का था उससे अच्छा.
No, exactly. The only thing that film taught me was that quitting cigarettes is hard. That's the only thing I got from it.
No, and making films is also hard.
Yeah.
But you also, but that's what I'm saying, right? Like you look at No Smoking, you look at what was that Bombay?
Dude, can I tell you one Girl in the Yellow Boots? That movie should not have been. It should have been a short film, but it just wasn't.
Yeah.
No, but then you see him do all of that. Then he also come. There's one movie recently. I don't know you guys watched it or not. It was called Mukkabaz.
Yeah,
I did. Yeah,
great movie.
It was a great.
It was very well made, bro. It was very well made. Yeah. So you know that here is a director. He is very sure, knows of his craft, and I think what is commendable when it comes to Kashyap is guy comes from nowhere, no real background, struggles his way up, and now comes to a point where people are running after him to just get presented by Anurag Kashyap. You know what I mean? Like, his name has become like a stamp of authority or a sign of approval almost. Which is great.
One of
an ISI mark.
The thing that is really incredible about Anurag Kashyap is when you add those two things together, the fact that he's an outsider, and usually when outsiders rise up the rank, their individuality gets sawed off.
Yeah.
But somehow with Anurag Kashyap, whatever his sensibility
it's gotten more.
It's gotten weirder. Which is the thing that is really commendable, because you never hit the mainstream with all your peculiarities intact.
You think
and also give birth to almost a little club of his own. There's so many directors out there right now who you will just say, "Arey, ye Anurag Kashyap camp se hai." You know, like, because they all borrow heavily from what he does, like his association with Vikram Motwane or Vasan Bala or Neeraj Gyavan, or I don't know, a bunch of other guys. It's insane to see.
The guy who did Ishqiya,
Abhishek Chaube.
Yeah.
No, but uska more came from Vishal Bhardwaj, because he used to assist Vishal Bhardwaj.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Again,
also
fantastic film.
Fantastic.
Again, How have we like not spoken? Okay, first guy to get like, but let's finish with Anurag Kashyap first. Yeah.
No, but like that's the thing. Anurag Kashyap is the kind of guy who has international acclaim.
Yeah.
He's somebody. उसको तू अगर पूछेगा अरे वो बोलिवियन फिल्म कौन सा था जो 1342 में बनाई थी किसी ने,
7 boxes.
उसको मालूम होगा. उसको मालूम होगा. Like people outside India, directors outside India want to know what he has to say to get a true insight of Bollywood, of where Indian film industry is heading, which is insane.
And the thing is, like, another director, again, very different style is Vishal Bharadwaj. Like, again, and the style has been intact. If you really look at Maqbool, and like, he's got his own style of doing things, and the music, dude, it blows my mind that this man.
Insane.
It helps that he started off as a music director, right? Like,
dude, Chaddi Pehan Ke Phool Khila is him.
Yeah, him and Gulzar.
Mowgli is him, dude. This guy has shaped my childhood to a degree, and now, like, when I look at his films, and it's just mind blowing.
Like him, you know what blows my mind, and we've done Shakespeare, we've read Shakespeare. If you just see, Maqbool, that the bits and pieces that he has been able, the fact that the witches are represented by Nasir and Omkar.
And yeah, bro.
Like, he has taken the opening scene.
Yeah.
It's the prologue he has put in that. It is so well done. Like, you know, there's a sequence in Maqbool where he says, आग का डर का संतुलन बने रखने के लिए पानी की some जरूरत है or whatever. There's a line that talks about how the balance needs to be maintained. Dude, it's from the plot of Shakespeare's Macbeth, dude. It is from the
all the fires of Jupiter will the waters of Neptune will not put out will not wash away his blood.
So well done. It is so well done. And if you see Shakespeare when he used to write, his first 5 lines would encapsulate the theme of the play.
Yeah,
that's what he did. So Hamlet is about confusion, and which is why who goes there is the first line, but it's actually said by a thing to Hamlet's father's ghost, right? If you look at Maqbool, it is about, he has managed to capture. Look at Heather, dude. What a film Heather is.
An amazing ability to extract that performance from Shahid Kapoor.
And he couldn't
amazing.
Do it a second
not
time.
just that. Not
he
just
couldn't
that.
do it a second time.
Yeah, he couldn't do it the second time. But not just that. If you look at Omkara, bro, how you Othello
again, Omkara, dude.
तो उसमें सैफ अली खान के मुंह में गुटखा डाल के येलो टीथ करा के you've given Indian cinema one of the best characters actually. Langda Tyagi is a phenomenal character. And to have the foresight that Saif, Saif, bro, he cool guy, cool, hey, I'm cool. उसको तू मतलब कोई middle India के गांव का आदमी बना रहा है. And to pull it off that well, it's a lot to do with the director, man. As much as with the actor.
That Langda Tyagi has is actually inspired by Shakuni, right?
Oh.
Wait. Inspired meaning like Shakespeare is inspired or
no?
Well, technically Mahabharata was written.
Iago didn't have a limp, but just the like it has that Shakuni vibe to it, no, to make him fraudulent.
And you know this guy is so good. Recently, after Irfan's passing, he wrote a
screenplay,
a two-page screenplay about what.
No, 5-page screenplay.
It was 5 that whatever. I finished it in 2 pages,
but
it was so good and it was very simple. Basically,
तूने Kindle पे पढ़ा होगा इसलिए 2 pages में निकल गया.
नहीं मैंने ऐसे phone पे पढ़ा, bro. लेकिन it was amazing, even in that small thing. Just the way he writes and arranges his thoughts and presents them to you are really good.
Yeah.
So and his ability to create music and then within that musical structure be able to tell that story. Saat Khoon Maaf.
You get a lot of timing, like timing of scenes. The fact that he's as a music director, the fact that he gets the beat of a scene has a lot to do with the fact that he's actually he's a composer.
Genuinely.
And you know why he became a composer, by the way? No. Because he had a crush on Rekha Bharadwaj, who wasn't Bharadwaj before.
And that woman has an amazing voice, bro.
It's and he fell in love with her voice and he was.
I don't blame him.
I need to figure out how to spend time with her. So he decided to compose music.
That's crazy.
Sing all his
Wow.
tracks.
What a
And
guy.
Crazy.
That's
So there's a whole section of ad film directors that have started to make films right now. You look at Rakesh Om Prakash Mehra, you look at Gauri Shinde, you look at
Balki.
Balki.
Gauri Shinde.
No, Neville has not made a feature yet. Please don't make me blush. But so if you just look at these, like Vinil Matthew, all of these guys are making feature films, right? Shujit Sarkar, phenomenal, Piku, etc. Ad film director, right? So just their work that's coming, and it's bringing a new sense, right? Like it's bringing a new nuanced sort of filmmaking sense, because ad films have always been like chakachak and like very precise, and there's no fact because you have 30-45 seconds
You
to
know
be
that,
able to tell the
is that
story.
you think is it because the audience attention span has gone for a toss to such a degree that you need an ad film director who looks at frame by frame 30 seconds to keep the audience engaged for every 30 seconds?
No, I just think that an ad film director brings it, like, I mean, come on, Rang De Basanti is as long as it.
My favorite film. One of my favorite films from
Rakesh
Bollywood.
Prakash Mehra film, yeah.
Like, you
One
look
of my
at
favorite
Rang De-
Bollywood films. So good.
Again, Vinod Pradhan, bro.
Yeah, Vinod Pradhan, A.R. Rahman, मतलब आमिर खान हो गया. अभी क्या अभी सिर्फ जावेद अख्तर लिरिक्स लिखे हैं ना कि नहीं गुलजार ने लिखा है.
No, Prasoon Joshi.
Prasoon
Of course.
Prasoon Joshi.
Also
ad
ad-
filmmaker.
ad filmmaker.
Yeah, ad film writer. So
It's almost like they go to the ad filmmaker like, sir देखो आपको है ना कितना 120 एक मिनटर बनाने. सब 2 घंटे का पिक्चर है, आप 1 मिनट कंसंट्रेट करो एवरी डे, मस्त चकाचक लगना चाहिए.
you look at Delhi 6, so you look at Delhi 6, you look at like, so I mean even when Gauri did what is that Shah Rukh and Alia film?
Love you zindagi,
Dear Zindagi.
Even
Or you
who was
look
the
at
director of
even the Sridevi movie where she wants to speak English.
Tumhari Sullu, who was the
English.
It was very good.
Huh?
Who was the
English,
director of
English.
Tumhari Sullu? Also ad film director.
Yeah, I forgot. Then you look at Dangal. That's also an ad film
Dangal.
director. You look at
bro, this one Neerja, Ram Madhwani.
Ram Madhwani.
Ram Madhwani also.
So I'm saying you're looking at this entire faculty of like ad film directors who are now coming into the fray to be
And
able
it's so
to.
good. It's almost like taking a
Tumhari Sullu
T20
is,
player,
Suresh
taking a
Trivedi.
T20 player,
Yeah.
taking a T20 player and asking him to play भाई तो भी test match या one day
Test
game. You know खेल पा
And
रहे
they're doing.
खेल पा रहे.
And बहुत अच्छी तरीके से खेल पा रहे हैं. Like you look at like, and this new crop, no, even if you look at like Aditya Dhar with Uri, like I thought Uri was very well made. All its there are a couple of things which are obviously OTT, but I think apart from that, I thought it was very well made. It was very well shot. It was really well shot. You know, Siddharth Vasani, by the way, guys, our Siddharth Vasani was second unit.
I know.
He was
Yeah.
second unit on Uri.
Because and then my friend Mitesh, he was main.
He was main. There you go.
Mitesh made shot our very first sketch.
Oh God,
we got on
yeah.
YouTube.
We can't say the name, I think. Yeah. My God. Yeah.
So, but
you know-
like keeping in mind that like your current crop of directors, obviously we have a bunch to talk about. So let's get into that. You know, Zoya Akhtar.
Zoya Akhtar, I mean, you look at her filmography. She did Luck by Chance. She was, of course, AD on Farhan's film.
He wrote it also.
Yeah. She always writes with Rima Khadki, right? So you look at, but I also think.
By the way, 1 second. One of the best things about Zoya Akhtar is, so for most of her filmography, people kept like going after her saying कि you only make films about rich people. Then
she made Gully Boy.
Gully Boy.
Gully Boy. And people are like, oh shit, now what do we do?
Actually, that's a great way to choose your next topic.
Yeah.
You just wait for your trolls to say something and then you go.
Abbas must stand her life.
But that's not true. You know, you look at Luck by Chance. Luck by Chance is Varun's story. You know,
it's middle class. It's middle class. Luck by Chance is middle class. Dil Dhadakne Do is rich people and Gully Boy is poor. तो उसने सब bracket cover कर लिया.
And Zindagi Milegi Na Do है ना, the only. But if you look at her, even like I've watched a lot of her interviews because I'm genuinely a big fan of Zoya Akhtar, and the way she sort of uses symbolism in film, right? She uses a lot of it. Like she thinks so much when she's blocking a shot. Like in Gully Boy, the pacing of scenes, when Alia and her mom are walking apart versus walking together.
That's going to be
the
a
reason
classic. Delhi Boy is going to be a
So-
classic.
No,
Yeah,
and
just-
also to have that thing with your DOP. I mean, now the way Jai Oza shot it,
Yeah.
that just heightens what you as a director have in mind, whether
Yeah,
it's symbolism, whether it's framing, whatever you want to convey through it. When you and your DOP have that sort of a rapport, what comes out is some other level stuff.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, to me, and even if you look at, like, in Dil Dhadakne Do, if you just look at the whole film, there's like 3 close-ups in the whole film. And it's because the whole film is told through the point of view of the dog. And so it's always this proscenium vibe that sort of exists, right? Like, it's those kind of things that genuinely make, like, she's genuinely a very, very, very good storyteller and a very good filmmaker.
Baba, we'll make you meet her. We'll make you meet her. Don't
No,
worry. मैं phone करता हूँ.
and discuss. Then even Shakun Batra for Kapoor and Sons. Like, if you just look at
Superb.
the way
And
Kapoor
guys,
and Sons
sorry,
was
fun fact. Both Aadar and I had auditioned for Kapoor and Sons.
Fun fact, I shot an ad.
But did you audition with Siddharth?
Podcast.
Did you audition with Siddharth?
No, not with.
So
with Siddharth.
Shakun apparently wanted to cast me, and the production house said, "This guy looks too rich."
One second, y'all wanted to be, y'all casted for what? Fawaz's role?
No.
Hey, Baba, क्या?
So then
Wait, hold on, one second.
इतना पाकिस्तानी नहीं है मैं.
Hold on 1 second. When we said both Aadar and I auditioned for Kapoor and Sons in a movie that had Fawad Khan and Siddharth Malhotra and Alia Bhatt. It's a Dharma movie.
Kapoor and Ratna Pathak Shah.
उसमें हम लोग फवाद
का रोल कर.
So who did you think for? Rishi
अरे
Kapoor?
कोई साइड नहीं.
Yeah, I don't know. Like somebody's friend.
अरे उस किसमें उसका दोस्त होता है ना, कोई एक बॉडी बिल्डर होता है, फिर एक का फोटो स्टूडियो होता है, वो फोटो स्टूडियो वाला कैरेक्टर.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I remember.
Not Fawad Khan's role.
I've forgotten what role it was. I just remember.
So, fun fact, I've shot a podcast with Shakun, and I've also shot an ad with Shakun. So yeah.
Baba, you're shooting a podcast with us now, so I don't think your life is going according to plan. It is a huge
We've shot a podcast with Vikram Aditya Motwani, guys. That's also like,
There are obviously a lot of directors that we haven't covered because 1 hour, 1.5 hour podcast isn't enough. But Madhur Bhandarkar from back in the day, man. Fantastic.
You
Talk
can't
about
say,
really back
you
in
can't
the day.
say 2 words when you're talking about Mother.
Oh God, we've not spoken about Raj Kapoor.
Raj Kapoor, we've missed out on Rajkumar Hirani, guys.
I haven't spoken about the director I first mentioned at the top of the podcast.
Dibakar
Banerjee.
Rajkumar Santoshi. Again, andaz apna
Arey yaar, we can do another podcast on just that film.
Anyway,
yeah.
Let's.
But for now, we'll speak about these, the ones that we've spoken about right now. But before we go, quickly, I want to ask you guys, if there was a biopic to be made on your life, which director would you want to direct your biopic?
Mine.
Banerjee. Prabhakar, I'm sorry I didn't get to speak about it. I would like to repay you by letting you make the story of my life.
Dibakar Banerjee. Okay, Kautuk?
Mine is going to be Rajkumar Hirani because, I mean, he made Sanjay Dutt's life likeable.
No, but Rajkumar Hirani has this amazing ability to make you smile and in the next second make you cry.
Yeah.
And like ball, 3 Idiots mein jab un log aate hai, after they pass in that exam they were supposed to fail, right? After he's tried to commit suicide and all of that, when he comes and they're like, jahan pana tusi great ho, tohfa kabul karo, main ro diya theater mein, bro.
That's a correct callback.
That's so good. Like,
can I take a guess on who I think who will make Baba's biopic?
It's 2, it's two options.
No, it's Imtiaz Ali.
Imtiaz Ali
it's a man trying to find himself.
Again and again.
Zoya Akhtar and Mani Ratnam, which will be a clash, and that movie will be horrible because those 2 directors to completely.
No, it's either Zoya or Mani Ratnam, but yeah.
Okay,
And,
okay, Baba.
and if it's Mani Ratnam, then Baba's life will be better when it's made in Tamil.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say I actually want Rakesh Om Prakash Mehra to make my film.
I thought you were going to say Rakesh Roshan for some reason.
No, you know,
I wouldn't mind. Actually, I wouldn't mind.
Rakesh Roshan, our first super.
We forgot Rakesh Roshan, but
guys, this has been way too long.
no. So I would like Rakesh Om Prakash Mehra.
This podcast was directed by Ashutosh Gowarekar, by the way.
Yeah. Now,
But
before
why Rakesh Om Prakash?
because he's made one of my favorite Bollywood movies ever, and I think he understands sense, sensibility, style all put together.
Yeah.
But you can also make a case that Ramesh Sippy would do a good job considering he did such a
Bro,
great job with the last Thakur.
or that. Sahi hai. And that's it from this episode of the Internet Set. So we were discussing our favorite directors. Obviously, an hour and a half podcast isn't enough to discuss because we have a lot to talk about. And before this podcast drags anymore, we are going to be smart and edit it just in time.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for watching. See you guys again next week.
Hold up.
The clock has now reset itself to 12:30 again.
Oh
shit. Hey guys, shit, मैं record करना भूल गया.
इधर दिख रहा है REC.